Hey there, it's Lauren from Rustic Honey, and today we are homemaking with a little bit of extra love for Valentine's Day. We've got some DIYs and a yummy soup headed your way, so come hang out with us. And just like that, we have already flipped our calendars to February. I can't believe how quickly time is passing already. I imagine how quickly this baby is going to arrive later on this spring, but nonetheless, I am doing my best to slow down and be in the moment. And I'm excited today to work around our home, putting out little touches of Valentine's Day. And we have had somewhat of a heat wave outside, but it is still soup season here, and I've been wanting to make my sausage tortellini soup ever since I messed up my tomato soup. As you'll see in this video, I'll link back to the tomato soup. Some of you argued that my tomato soup looked awesome and that you actually don't like it thicker than that, so it would have been a great recipe for you. But nonetheless, I went ahead and froze that soup before, and I wanted to add it to our tortellini soup today as the main base. So as always, I will link this recipe below so we don't have to chat all the details during the video, but basically I had mild Italian sausage links. Sometimes the links are easier for me to find than just the ground meat, so I just remove the casings and then get them into a skillet with some avocado oil. Then I'm gonna work on chopping up some veggies to throw in and let those hearty vegetables work a little longer. All my scraps are gonna go to the chickens, but we're gonna set those aside for just for now, and then we'll go enjoy the warm air outside. This recipe I've had on my blog for years, and so I'm actually gonna link it down below for you. If you're over at rustichoney.com, excuse the mess. I am currently working on redoing my website to make all of my recipes more accessible when you pop over there so you can find what you need. So I had to laugh at this zucchini. I did Walmart grocery pickup this week because I was in a pinch for time. Super easy to do, but they sent me the one zucchini that was probably the tiniest zucchini I've ever seen. And it just made me daydream about spring and summer when we'll have our own fresh veggies in the garden, and they will be about 10 times this size by the time I remember to pick them. But for now, I'm cutting up the zucchini, and I'm actually going to set it aside with the tortellini. I'm making this in the afternoon, and I just want it to kind of slowly simmer all afternoon so that it's ready to go because, like I said, this week has been kind of busy. So our family's on the go a lot. I have a meeting tonight and my boys have a meeting, so we're splitting up, but I wanted to have something for everyone to grab dinner whenever they needed to. So soup on the stove is what it's going to be, and we can kind of eat when we're home, even though unfortunately it won't be together at the table tonight. Anyway, all that to say that this recipe is a keeper because you could do it in a crock pot, you could leave it simmer on the stove, you could just leave it set and it gets better, honestly. You could make it ahead and heat it up the next day and it's really delicious. This is also such a fragrant soup, and it's so beautiful, I think, because of all the colors in it. Especially in the winter time, there's not a whole lot of food I feel like that we can prepare that's actually pretty because so much of it is soups and it cooks for a long time. But for some reason, this soup seems to stay pretty colorful, and I just feel like it's a good spring soup, I guess. All right, so we have our sausage and our main veggies in there. I am gonna add some canned diced tomatoes along with usually tomato sauce, but again, I'm using that leftover tomato soup, and some seasonings and some garlic. You saw me testing the lid of that jar. Last summer I was a canning machine, but for some reason this jar looked like it had just lost a lot of fluid during the canning process, and I always want to make sure it's got that nice seal on it when I open it and that it smells fresh. I love the smell of the tomato products for sure because it just takes you back to the middle of summertime when your whole kitchen smells like canned tomatoes. But anyway, a small pint jar was perfect for this, and then I'm going to throw in the base of that other soup to finish this off.
I didn't know I was telling a lie. It's been a long day for sure. How could I resist your smile? Can we move on as before? I could wait for 1,000 years, but it won't do us any good.
All right, now that soup is prepped and everything's cleaned up, I'm going to go check on Reese, who's been playing outside of my window most of this time. Finding the mud. That's what my kids are good at right now, which we are so thankful for the mud. We've
Gonna
been,
get your mud boots
quote
on?
unquote, planting trees here, means just digging holes in my yard. And our garden right now is not looking so great. Just we're in that part of the year where it's just kind of ugly. We have the leftovers, and right now we have our chickens right in the garden, which is going to be amazing when it comes to the growing season. Right now it's just kind of messy, but it's fun to watch them. They're so close to the house, and it's perfect when I have scraps like that. I can really just pop out the door, throw out my scraps, and I don't have to walk very far to find them. Now that dinner can kind of take care of itself, I want to spend a little bit of time decorating for Valentine's Day. I'm not going to do anything fancy or over the top. I just want to do a couple DIYs and share them with you today. I have these little paper flowers in bulk because we have had them since we got married, maybe 12 years ago at this point. Enough that we've stopped keeping track of how many years it is without doing the math. But my mom and I had made these for our wedding. I say my mom and I. It was probably a lot, my mom, when I look back on this. But they're a fun little paper flower, and I found these magnets when I was cleaning under our couch the other day, and I thought, oh, I'm gonna make some more of these little rosette magnets because they're so cute on the fridge, and they often do get ripped off after a while. So I try to redo them, maybe once a year and have a few more there. But I will say I've done these with hot glue in the past, and I feel like hot glue is still the way to go. I pulled out the super glue, and it just took a lot longer for it to get tacky and set up. They worked out just fine, but I think hot glue works even better if you want to give this project a try. Excuse me, well, I have a little bit of a chocolate break here. I had to buy some chocolate candies because, Valentine's Day. And I wanted to show you really quick. If you don't know how to make the little paper flowers, I'm going to show you how we made our little rosettes. So we used old book pages, but you could use any color of paper, any old newspapers, books, anything that you find would make a pretty rosette, and then just do your swirl and then cut along your swirl. Honestly, you wouldn't even have to trace the swirl if you wouldn't want to. I feel like I didn't end up even cutting on the line the whole time. Then you're just going to sit there and roll these all the way up as pretty much as tight as you can, all the way till you get to the center. And this is a project that I feel like we worked on a lot just in front of the TV. If you have all your swirls, you can sit there and cut them out. You can make all the little rosettes. I don't even remember how many we made, but there were probably hundreds of these at our wedding. But they're just a fun little project. I love them. So that little centerpiece there in the middle is where you're going to put your glue. We hot glued these, and that's probably what I would do again because it's so instant, it will hold it. But if you let go of the rosette, it will flower out just a little bit, and that glue just holds it right down in the center there. And then you can decorate with your little rosettes. I've made wreaths in the past with them. I've just kind of adorned lots of little things, but I almost think the magnets are my favorite. I've used those over and over again, and they add just a perfect little touch to our refrigerator. I also have this little hanging envelope thing, and I felt like this is where love letters should go. There may not be time for love letters this year, but at least it looks cute for Valentine's Day. Okay, our next quick DIY is going to be a garland. Speaking of love letters, it's going to look like love letters hanging across the shelving in my kitchen. I always decorate my open shelving. If you've been around my channel for any period of time, you know that that's usually where I start in the kitchen. I spend a lot of time there, and I have the open shelves, so I really love to decorate them for the season. I have this cute little ticking stripe fabric that I'm going to use for my little envelopes, and I have red felt left over from a project here on my channel actually too. I made a little Red Riding Hood cape, and I happen to have a little bit of red felt left over from that has come in handy for projects such as this. We are going to cut out almost like a little house shape, as you can see here, a long rectangle with a triangle there at the end, and it's going to fold up and create a little envelope, if you will. And then we're going to cut out some hearts, and we're going to glue it all together. You could definitely sew this. I think it would be really cute. As you'll see here in a few minutes, we can talk about this. But if you put a little like stitching on top of this, it would be adorable. You could even add some stuffing and really make it 3D. But I am going for quick and easy today. So I'm just cutting out these little envelopes as quick as possible, making some hearts with just a long rectangle of fabric, just old school style, fold it in half, cut your little hearts, and then I'm going to piece them all together with a little bit of hot glue.
'Cause you're my sweetheart. When you're around, I feel the sparks takes me higher, sweetheart. Let me be close to you forever, ever, darling.
Now that we have all our pieces, it's time to assemble. I am going to find the center of my string here, and that's where I'm going to place one envelope. I'm doing 5 envelopes all together. I think it'll fit the space nicely. So I'm going to slide that first envelope piece into the middle where I marked the center of my string. Then I'm going to fold it up till it creates that rectangle and then fold over the top of the envelope, and I'm going to secure it with some hot glue. This is again where I was thinking you could do really cute stitching on the side, but again, just in a pinch for some time and something cute in my kitchen, I'm just going to hot glue everything today and to get it how I like it. And if in the future, if I think I really want to make something that will maybe last a little longer or have a little bit more detail, then I could do that. But I think that all of these matching looked really cute, but you could also do like a scrappy banner with different fabrics. I think that could be really cute and eclectic. Definitely get creative with it. And I'm going to share a link below because I was inspired on this project by something I had seen on Pinterest. So I definitely want to give you guys the link to her original project too. Because it inspired this one. So I set my center envelope, and then for the other 2, I just laid them out on my string where I wanted to place them, got everything laid out, and then hit it with a little bit of glue. And this project took me no time at all to get hot glued and hung up in my kitchen. So I'm going to go ahead and finish gluing these, and then we need to freshen up my shelves in the kitchen as well. They've kind of been sitting here a little bit dormant this winter, which since after taking down all the Christmas decorations, it's just been pretty bare and not really thoughtfully placed. So I'm going to add this little banner, move some things around, and see if we can freshen this up for Valentine's Day.
You're my sweetheart. I will stay just to feel your heart pumping next to mine. Do you feel that I'm your missing part? That you're finally right. You got me out of this feverish dream.
Sometimes I work on my open shelves for longer than you think it would take, but for today, I just kind of clustered some items together and created as much balance as I could. Also went and looked for a few more red items to pull out those pops of red in the envelopes that I made. And I just searched through what I have. I often bring out this little crate that's red, and I thought the little mailbox was super fun. I put some candies in there, and when the flag is up, I told my kids there's going to be a little bit of chocolate in there. We'll see how long this lasts because my kids will probably find the chocolate and eat it all before we can do this every day. But I thought that would be a fun little surprise for them when they get home from school today, as long as Reese doesn't sneak in and eat all the chocolate before they get home. All right, we're starting to lose the daylight hours, and it is time to finish up dinner. Everyone's running in different directions tonight, so I've got to get dinner ready so we can all eat when we can. I'm throwing in the zucchini and the tortellini in the soup. I kind of brought it back to a simmer, and I'm just going to pop the lid on for the amount of cook time that this tortellini takes is about 10 to 12 minutes. So I'm just going to let that simmer while I'm working around the kitchen and around the house to get us through our evening here. This smells so good. It is such a yummy soup. It's got so much flavor. You could use a hot Italian sausage too. I know one of my kids would love to have the spicier one, but I just used a mild Italian sausage, but I just feel like this soup has so much flavor. My husband loved it too. And if you want to add a garnish, fresh Parmesan cheese is amazing on top of this soup. So definitely do that. I was thinking on my way to school pickup today how red was popping out to me all over the road. I'd been looking for red items around my house before trying to decorate. And then it was like my brain couldn't stop looking for red. And it reminded me of a quote I had heard earlier in the week that said, "What you focus on, you find more of." And I found this true in so many aspects of life. And it just, my deep thought of the day is to encourage you to find the good things, see the good, look for the love maybe this month, since this is the month of February. Look for all of those things around you. And the more you focus on those things, the more that your brain will subconsciously bring all of those things to the surface. So I guess what I'm trying to say is slow down, be mindful, and focus on all of the good things around you. Like this beautiful sunset. Oh my goodness, welcome February. We are ready for all of the pinks and the purples and the spring colors headed our way. I hope to see you back here again soon.